a letter from Delaney Huntoon, a hearing mother. This message describes two parents with 5 children. The youngest two, 4 and 8 months. A while ago, we were really struggling. We were told by the doctors to never sign to the children because they wanted us to focus. And we needed to focus on the oral method and using cochlear implants. The second youngest child was 4 and severely deaf. The 8-month-old was also severely deaf. And the doctors told us that we needed to give them cochlear implants. But we really didn't want them to go through surgery, so that was not an option for us. But the professional group told us that if we don't use cochlear implants, that could damage our child. And it was better for us to go ahead and do it as soon as possible. I have 2 deaf children, not 2 CUs. The 4-year-old is Arabella. I remember back then she was 15 months old, and I really tried to talk to her, focus on the oral method, but it was hard. We didn't understand each other. I was frustrated, she was frustrated. It was the same thing every time. Arabella tested above average for the verbal, and I only had verbal sources. And that person always pushed me to use the oral method, but it wasn't working. So we threw it out. Professional labels and parentings always had problems. One day I met another man who used ASL, and he asked me if I used ASL. And I said, no, we don't. But I wanted to go up to him and I asked him, would you mind showing me the sign for milk? And he goes, yes, this is a sign. And I go, oh. And that's when I realized that this was useful. I wanted an EI to come to me and teach me ASL. And at that time, Arabella was 2.5, and soon she would be 3, and it would be the time for us to put her in transitional placement. And we could put her in a young people area or in a mainstream school with an interpreter. But I was worried that if I put my daughter with an interpreter, then she would really struggle and not understand. And I had the option for the least restrictive environment, an LRE. And I really thought about it. I meditated, I thought hard. Plus, I also thought maybe if we moved closer to a deaf institute, maybe that was the best option. I mean, this could really impact my daughter's life. And it was a struggle for me to decide. We could also put her in a half and half classroom. And by the time first grade, she could excel in ASL. But when she was 3, she was still learning. And when she was 4, she really excelled in ASL. She knew. So now I know what to do for my 8-month-old. I can't wait to start signing to her and having conversations. We know what to expose her to now. For EIs, we finally understand what we're looking for. The good news is that we finally understand what we're looking for, but the bad news is that we don't have many people to come and teach us about these resources. We only used to know about the oral method. Other parents would see me signing to my daughter and come to me and ask, "Does that work for you?" And I would say yes. And I would ask the parents what works for them, and they said they're constantly fighting. And I asked them, "And who's fighting for your child?" And they say, "We're constantly fighting." And I would say, "If you don't fight for your child, then who will?" Thank you for watching my story. This story was shown because DBC wants to solve these issues. They want more ASL providers, mentors, more people for projects. They want to grow their training. And if you are interested, please join the project, the program, so we can have better communication in homes and more access to school. So we can have better access everywhere. DBC wants to eliminate these problems. Thank you.